All right, we're not making resolutions. We're making room for God. I hope that, we're in day 7 today of our fast, and I hope that you are finding out some things about yourself, that God's revealing some things to you. You feel like you're actually drawing closer to the Lord in this. We've got another 2 weeks more, and we're just going to continue to move together in the fast. If you haven't begun it, you weren't here last week and you forgot about it, then start. We are in the middle of a 21-day fast, fasting, prayer, Bible reading. We're going through the book of John together, and Pastor Jeff put together this great devotional for these 21 days. If you haven't picked it up, it's online, but you can also pick up a paper copy in the foyer. It's fantastic. And the staff's been giving you little 1-2 minute things every morning to kind of help you get jump-started for the day, and so I appreciate them doing that. Last week, I talked with you about community. And we used the passage in the book of Genesis where God said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. And I talked with you about how community is the picture of God to the world today. How we look at this scenario. It's not about how we fit. The image of God is not physically stamped on us. We saw the unity of the Godhead, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and how C.S. Lewis refers to it as the dance. God sends the Son sends the Holy Spirit in turn points us back to the Son, who in turn shows us the Father. It's just a constant thing of unity and community and being in communion with one another is what we see in the Trinity. That's how we are to live in the world in which we inhabit today. We are to live in community. It's not about connection. I want to be connected. We look on Facebook and all types of social media to connect with people, but it's not really about connectivity. It's much deeper than that. It's about communion, having things in common, as we see in the book of Acts. Today, though, I want to talk with you about making room for God in your family. Making room for God in your family. And I just got to tell you, when I left the office this week, I had a busy week of to be in Birmingham on Wednesday all day and some meetings, and then had a surprise trip to Mariana Thursday afternoon. Had to go over there, and so just really, really hectic and really busy. And what I thought I was going to preach this morning and teach this morning just kind of went the way of the dodo sometime earlier in the week. And the way I was going to approach this morning just didn't feel right. And so Friday night, Saturday morning, got up early, did a redo on what I wanted to teach and how I wanted to talk about this today. And then last night, I'm sitting in our living room. Kim and I are just sitting there talking and watching some television. And I asked her a question about something. And she said, "Why are you asking?" I said, "Because I don't think what I have prepared for tomorrow morning is what I'm supposed to talk about." So, take 3. I even sent the message early yesterday morning to Leslie, our interpreter for the deaf ministry here, and I had to tell her this morning, "Sorry, Leslie, I'm not going to go down that road." I have a thought today, and to be honest with you, that's about all I've got. That's about all I've got. I don't have 4 points in a poem this morning. I did know I had a joke or a riddle kind of thing that I could tell you. So hopefully, and you laugh, so we're at least good there. We're at least good there. But let's talk about making room for God in our families. Making room for God in our families. It's an interesting time in which we live. There are different definitions of family. There are people that hold hard and fast to the biblical definition of family, and I'm not arguing that this morning. And I'm not getting into any political hotbeds today. That's not what this is about. What this is about, though, is whatever your family looks like this morning, here in this room, listening to us online, whatever your family looks like today, are you making room for God? Are you making room for God in your family? One of the key things, the phrases that we've used through this whole series is whatever you seek first organizes your life. Whatever you seek first organizes your life. So I want to ask you a question, and then I'm going to ask you some more questions today, and then we're going to pray. Okay? If asked, what would your children say organizes your family's life? If I ask you, "Hey, what organizes?" You're going to go, "Oh, God's center of our life," because I'm the preacher. And you're going to answer that question that way. That's what you tell the pastor. and your other smiling Christian friends in church on Sunday mornings. But if we ask your children that question, what would your children say in your home organizes your life? What would those people that know you better than anybody else say organizes your life? Because that's where the rubber really begins to meet the road. When we really understand what organizes our life. Let me ask you some more questions. In a home where there's a mom and a dad, I'm not talking about single parents' homes or anything like that right now, but if there's a mother and a father in a home, do they see mom and or dad reading the Bible? Or is the Bible reading relegated to a little box underneath the telephone or on the nightstand that you pick up and go, Jesus wept, boom, I did it? Do they see dad or mom praying at other times except meals? Or is mealtime prayers the only time that they see mom or dad? Or has mom and dad relegated that to the children and grandchildren? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just asking some questions today. Because remember, I had a thought. A thought. Do your children in your home see church as a priority? Or is church something that you do when you don't have anything else to do on Sundays? You see, these are all very valid questions if we're going to answer the question, what do we seek first in life? What is it that our lives are organized around? We have to look at these questions, and we have to see these questions through the eyes of those that are in their cares entrusted to us. We have to answer these questions. If it's a single parent home, whether it's a single father or single mother, is the single father, as a single father, are you leading the way spiritually in your home? If you're a single mom, are you leading the way spiritually in your home? And do your children recognize that as something that's really taking place? In other words, are you having the conversations? Are you attempting devotions? Do they see you reading the Bible? Do they see you praying at other times other than mealtime prayers? Do they see you using the Lord's name in some way other than vanity? Or out of anger? You see, we always take up the offering before we do sermons like this because it just really helps. It really helps. Do they see dad, mom, loving God and living for God as a priority? Do they know by example that a personal relationship with Jesus Christ is the most important thing in a person's life? You see, because what happens too often is, and I spent over a decade in student ministry, and I felt like, and no one ever actually said this to me, but I felt this from time to time, that people would bring me their kid in 6th grade when they begin to enter into middle school and go, here is my immature middle school child. When they graduate from high school, I want them a spiritually mature adult that never gives me any problems. And like an hour a week is all we have with them. 2 hours if we did a Sunday school class on a Sunday morning. But yet that's the expectation. The expectation is that the church is to be the place where our kids grow spiritually and mature spiritually. But the problem with that is that it's not remotely biblical. So we're asking the question today, if we ask your children what they see as the thing that organizes the lives of your family, then what are we saying? What are they answering us with? I mean, is it really just about youth service on Wednesday night over in the merge room? Is it really just about GenU kids on Sunday morning and maybe some of you bring them back on Wednesday night for 45 minutes or an hour when they're in kids ministry? Is that really what your lives are organized around? And look, I'm just asking questions this morning because I have a thought. A thought. But these questions are valid questions. If we're going to really make room for God in our life, then these questions have to be answered. They have to be asked, and then we all have to answer them. I can't answer them for you. I can't. Do they see dad loving and honoring mom in the home in a sacrificial way? Do they see mom loving and honoring dad in a sacrificial way? Now, for those of you that are raising children alone, you're a single parent, you're raising children, and there's no father or maybe no mother in the home. Does this mean that you're not a real family? It doesn't mean that at all. It means you are a real family. It means that you have work cut out for you, but you know what? God is able. And his grace is sufficient for you to enable you to be both mother and father in that situation, that scenario, if you'll trust him. I feel so inadequate. Well, just during those times of inadequacy that he says to us in his word that my grace is going to be sufficient. When you're at your weakest moment, that's when I'm strongest. Yeah. That if you need wisdom, that we ask for wisdom, and he gives us wisdom. He doesn't give it stingily. He gives it to us graciously and liberally, generously. If we ask your children what your family is organized around, what would their answer be? I mean, is there room for God in your family? If so, how much room? Is he the center of the home, in the living room, in the kitchen, and dining area, in every room in the house? Does he have is he being open, hospitable to every area of your home? Or is he in a closet? Or maybe in an outbuilding? Is there somewhere in your home that God is not welcome? And you say, that's a stupid question, Phil. It's not a stupid question. Because a lot of us live our lives in ways that we want to say that our place is open to God. God can go anywhere we want to, but we have these little corners of our lives that we go, everywhere but here, I got this, you don't need to worry about it. I've got this. We're talking about making room for God in our families. And if the thing that we seek first is what organizes our life, and we take a look at our calendar and we see the things of God as a really tiny, small piece of the pie, and the other stuff, the big stuff, taking up most of the time, are we really saying that God is the center of our life? What are our children saying about that which organizes our life? If we ask your kids, is coming to church important? What will their answer be? Yes, we have to be at church every Sunday. Or yes, we make 3 out of 4 Sundays. Or yes, well, we're good through the wintertime, but then when summer hits, we're out on the bay, we're at Crab Island, or we're on the beach, or we're doing something like that. And look, I'm not against any of those things. And I'm not saying you should be in church 52 weeks of the year. I don't want to be in church 52 weeks a year. Okay? I'm a pastor. There's sometimes that I need a break from you just like you need a break from me. I love you. See my smile? What is it that your home is centered around? Is God a priority in your home? Is God a priority in your home? And if so, will your children answer that way? Let's stand. Kind of weird, huh? Look, there's no such thing as a perfect family. There's no such thing as a perfect home. The people that you look at on Sunday and go, they've got it so together. I just wish my home was that way. Yeah, they're sitting there looking at you going, I wish my home was like that. We all have failures. We all have issues. We all have situations in our life that we don't know what to do with. And I could sit here this morning and I could read you a bunch of scriptures about how the family is supposed to be set up and how husbands are supposed to love their wives and wives are supposed to reverence and respect their husbands and children are supposed to obey their parents and Lord. All that's Bible. But you see, if we make room for God, then the Holy Spirit will reveal all those things to us. And we can live accordingly. I don't want to hammer you today. I just wanted to ask you some questions because I have a thought. And here's my thought. That if we'll seek God first and His righteousness, all the things that we like and love in life will be added to us. Amen. Because I know this, that whatever we seek first is what organizes our life. Amen.